And to shed more light on this issue, we are delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Ahmed Khattab, the economic expert. Good evening, doctor.
Good evening to all of you.
It's a pleasure having you with us on Nile TV International. So, Doctor, head of International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, said that the war in the Middle East will lead to higher inflation and slower global growth. What's your take on that?
Yes, the war between Iran and USA and Israel leads the international world to more inflation rate. Inflation rate, why? Because the more increase in the price of fuel and liquid gas by more than 40% affects the logistics in all over the world, especially after the close of Hormuz Strait. The International Energy Agency chief warned that the oil shock from the Iran war is worse than several historical oil crisis campaigns, and also the world supply chain affected by the close of Hormuz Strait, and this is lead for more price in all the fuel. The Iran war 2026 begins on February 28, when USA and Israel launch a large scale in Iran, and this is lead the world to more inflation rate, and also the operation targets military sites, nuclear facility, and the leadership, including the killing of the Iran sovereign leaders. This war leads the world to the worst scenario in the inflation rate and the decrease of the growing rate also at the same time. And the war affects 100% the international growth rate, and the International Monetary Fund decreased the growing rate from 3.5% to 2.8% for maximum. Head of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, said the war in Middle East will lead to higher inflation and slow global growth, and also the Egypt as a key country in Middle East stay stable enough, and we have already growing rate by more than 3%, and this is more than the international rate. And before this war, we reached to 5.3%, and this is most efficiency of the government, especially under the leadership of President Sisi. But Egypt as a key country in Middle East and in Africa, the growing rate also will decrease sometime. But I think if this war stops during the end of this month, this will lead to increase in the growing rate in Egypt until reach 5.5% as we planned before this war.
So, Doctor, what will be the most affected countries by this higher inflation?
The most affected country by this high inflation, all GCC countries, and also Canada country, Germany, France, and Russia and China, because all these countries depend mainly on the fuel imported from GCC country, and the price of fuel will increase. Canada, for example, face more than 40% increase in the petrochemical sector, especially depend mainly liquid gas and ammonia imported from United Arab Emirates. And Germany and France also depend mainly in more than 40% of the fuel from GCC countries like Qatar for liquid gas and Saudi Arabia for petroleum sector. And Iran, in the same time, export to China decreased because of the instability in the area. And also the war, Iran destroyed many petroleum offshore stations in United Arab Emirates and the Kuwait, or at least lead to stop operation by 100%, and the decrease of the volume of recovery of oil and gas from all GCC countries will affect the world. And also 30% of the ships go through Hormuz Strait, and this is stopped to only some kind of ships only have the acceptance of Iran to go through the Hormuz Strait, and this is lead to the market depression, and we have some expectation about this war to extend for 2 weeks, because Iran, I think, not accept to stop war, and today is the last day for Iran to accept the America negotiation point. Until now, I think there is no in agreement between America and Iran, so the war will stop at least for another 2 weeks. So let me explain. This will lead to more increase in the price of fuel for more than $20 per barrel, and I think will lead to more inflation. But I hope Egypt as a key strategic partner under the leadership of Sisi to make something to lead Iran to accept the negotiation and accept to stop war with America, and this will lead to reduce the price of oil and the gas, and will lead to for stopping this war as soon as possible. Will lead to more stability in all Middle East and North Africa.
So, Doctor, the IMF is expected to release a range of scenarios in its upcoming World Economic Outlook due on April 14th. What are your expectations for those scenarios?
IMF is expected to release a range of series in the upcoming World Economic Outlook due on April 15th. This is expectation for the International Monetary Fund. All the plans 14th. Of the International Monetary Fund will update it monthly because the forecast of figure and the forecast of the economy affected day by day by the war. So I think the International Monetary Fund will make another assessment if this war stops. But if this war not stop, so we face more challenge in the economy, not only in this country but in all over the world. And the International Monetary Fund and Fitch and Standard and Poor's, all the international associations related to monitoring and control the economy try to make daily updates, because every day President Trump say a speech in the TV will affect the stock exchange and will affect the market and will affect the stability of the world. I hope International Monetary Fund can make some updates after this war take the right direction and after diplomatic way start. But till today, we are in a very critical point in all over the world because of the unexpected attack from USA against Iran will take place next Wednesday or next Thursday, as President Trump said in a TV interview. But if Iran accepts to stop the war, so all the challenges facing the economy will be reduced, and the diplomatic way will lead to more stability in the price of fuel and oil and gas, and will the trade to go again in the normal way. But till today, we are very worried about the inflation rate, and very worried about the stability and of the region, especially all the GCC countries.
So, Doctor, according to Georgieva, the war has shrunk global oil supply by 13%. What's the impact of this shrinking on world countries?
I hope Georgieva ratio of the increase of 13% only, and I'm expecting more increase if this war takes place, especially after the President Donald Trump speech in TV. He will destroy all the energy sector and energy infrastructure in Iran. I hope don't do this, especially in the energy sector. But if the energy sector in Iran go out of work or destroyed by the U.S. military force, the global oil supply will be reduced by more than 30%, because Iran is a key country in the GCC area, producing oil and gas, and all the GCC countries will be affected by the operation. So Georgieva said that the war has shrunk globally oil supply by 50%. I think this ratio will increase. But if the war stops, this ratio will decrease to only 5%.
So the IMF chief said also that the international fund could augment some existing lending programs to meet countries' needs. To what extent can the IMF meet the needs of those countries? And in your opinion, would such lending programs be effective?
International Monetary Fund chief said that the international fund could augment some existing leading programs to meet the need of the country. I think International Monetary Fund cannot be able to cover all the loans to all countries, especially the growing countries like Egypt, like Ethiopia, like some African country. All the countries today need loans from International Monetary Fund, and the International Monetary Fund not able to support all the growing countries and all over the world. But he will support part of this country, and by very short amount, and maybe under high interest rate, not low interest rate. But I hope International Monetary Fund accepts to borrow Egypt, because Egypt affected 100% by the increase of oil and the gas price. And Egypt, as a member, and have already a history and very good communication with International Monetary Fund to borrow Egypt, because it benefits more and more from the inflation rate, because the number of population in Egypt is more than 110 million of Egyptian citizens, and this is lead the Egyptian government to pay some subsidies related to the fuel and some subsidies related to social activity program. And Egypt, under the leadership of Sisi, support the Egyptian citizens against any increase in the price, especially the price of oil and the gas and the fuel. And Egypt only make an increase on the price of oil and the gas by around 17 to 20%, but in all over the world the price increased for more than 40%, especially in Canada, especially in Europe, especially in France, especially in Germany. And Egypt controls the increase by very low ratio, about 20% only, and the government make some subsidies by the difference between the 40% increase in the price of oil and gas and the price of oil and gas presented to Egyptian citizens and also Egyptian industries and organizations and some other associations. But International Monetary Fund should support Egypt in order to take the right direction in the economic reform we started from 2016, and Egypt takes the right direction, and Egypt take all the agreed points with the International Monetary Fund in order to start borrowing from the International Monetary Fund to support the Egyptian governmental sector, especially Minister of Transportation and Minister of Agriculture, and some minister in Egypt still in need of long time loans from International Fund to build our infrastructure and support our industry sector to be go on and more to be more advanced, and it will be able to cover all the Egyptian citizens needs by local state parts and parts made in Egypt totally. So we we still have International Monetary Fund program in order to continue to build our infrastructure and make it updated to be a leader country in the Middle East and North Africa, because we have Swiss Canal Corridor and Swiss Canal Logistics area, and all these leader projects need International Monetary Fund loans.
So, Doctor, the heads of the IMF, IEA, and World Bank said last week they would form a coordinated effort to assess the energy and economic effects of the war. In your opinion, how can the collective efforts of those international bodies help reduce the impact of the current war?
Yes, the head of IMF, International Monetary Fund, and World Bank said last week they would form a coordinated effort to assess the energy and economic effects of the war. But I hope all International Fund able to support all countries in Middle East, especially. Why Middle East? Because all the countries in Middle East affected 100% by the war between Iran and all GCC countries, and between Iran and Israel and America. If we go back for last 2 weeks, Iran send a lot of missiles to United Arab Emirates, to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar, to Bahrain, to Oman, to the area and all the key countries producing fuel, oil and gas and fuel and fuel, mainly stop operation by at least 50%. But in the same time, Egypt have already a very solid relation with all the GCC countries, especially Saudi Arabia and Qatar. And Egypt imports liquid gas, for example, from Qatar, and imports the petroleum products and oil and gas products from Saudi Arabia. And this supply chain between Saudi Arabia and Egypt stopped because of the Hormuz Strait closed. Even it's closed partially, but it's closed. In fact, so the price of fuel we try to import from abroad increase because also of the instability of the logistics way. In the same time, this is lead to more burden in the Egyptian government to cover the difference or the gap between the official price of liquid and gas imported from abroad and the price of oil and gas presented to Egyptian citizens or the Egyptian governmental industry or the private sector industry. In the same time, we are not able to reduce the size and volume of production from our industry because in Egypt we still need to some services or committees for all the products made in Egypt. And in the same time, we are under the pressure of the increase in the price of dollar against the Egyptian pound, and Egypt tried to make compensation by increasing the size and the volume of export of all the products made in Egypt, because this is bringing foreign currency, especially dollars from abroad. And Egypt at the same time already depends mainly on the petrochemical sector, and petrochemical sector in Egypt depends mainly on liquid gas imported from abroad. And at the same time, we have already some high demand for all petrochemical in Egypt in order to make export to Europe and make export to some African countries. Egypt already have agreement with all these countries. So Egypt now tries to make a balance between our export and import rate. We import liquid gas in order to transfer to petrochemical sector, and we export abroad to Europe country and bring currency. In the same time, this mega project in Egypt open a market for Egyptian citizens to be worker or employee, and this is will support the Egyptian economy by more stability in order to create job. How to create job in Egypt is a very challenging point, and Egypt tried to make this all mega projects, especially work in the field of oil and gas, in the field of the petroleum sector. They start working by full operation in order to cover all expenses related to employee wage and salary, and to be open market for more employees to start work again in the coming year as the plan of this company. So in Egypt, the government do a wonderful achievement in order to make a balance in this war, and in order to make also Egyptian national security safe 100%, and also in order to make a balance between Egypt as a key country in Middle East and North Africa, and all the key countries in GCC like Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the Kuwait. And the powerful of business CC will lead to solving this problem, especially business CC have a direct connect with President Donald Trump, and they make a conference call in order to send a lot of agreed points between Iran and Turkey and Israel at the same time, because Israel is also playing a very effective role in this war. So Egypt, I think, in need of leading operation in the area against the safe point, because once this war stops, the price of liquid gas will decrease in the same day. And even President Donald Trump say we will stop war next Thursday, for example. The price of oil and gas decreased from $1.15 to $80 as maximum. And day by day, the production of oil and gas from all these companies will start operation by more volume and size, and the movement of the ships in the Hormuz Strait will go to the normal way, and all the ships go through the Hormuz way, because Hormuz will support 30% of all the ships, especially related to oil and gas and fuel. So the world today face the unexpected 2 days it's a very critical two working days, Wednesday and Thursday. And if the President Donald Trump stops this war, the direction of inflation will decrease and the world will go save 100%.
So, Doctor, new orders for key U.S. manufactured capital goods increased more than expected in February, while shipments of those products rose solidly. Does this suggest that the impact of the Iran war was softer on the U.S. economy than the rest of the world?
Yes, the U.S. economy affected by this war 100% because the U.S. is a key player in this war. U.S. spent, America military force spent more than 25 billion U.S. dollars in this war against Iran. In the same time, USA military force support Ukraine on the last 3 years and support Israel in order to protect Israel from any threats from Iran, from Lebanon, and this is lead to more expense in the American military force budget. President Donald Trump needs to increase the budget of the USA military force from 1.5 billion trillion of dollars to 1.7 trillion of dollars for the 26-27 budget. So as the member of the Congress not accepting to increase the budget of the USA military force by this huge amount, because all this amount they collected from the American citizen taxpayer and all the industries and the association work in USA. So President Donald Trump faced two challenges. First challenge, the agreement of the Congress senators, and the second challenge, the disagree of mega sector of USA citizens against this war, because this war lead America to spend more and more. Till I think in order President Trump to end this war, he will spend more than $50 billion in the coming 2 weeks.
But how the impact is softer on the U.S. despite the budget allocated to the war?
Because the price of oil and the gas in USA increased. The price of the oil and the gas in USA and in Canada, even it's gas and the gas from Venezuela, but only and even also USA as a key country is the production of oil and the gas. But already USA is a huge user and consumption of oil and the gas, and the price of oil and gas reached to $4 per gallon, and this is a huge amount. And before the war, it's around 2 or 1.5, and this is also increased by more than 50%. So this is lead all the American citizens to support this war, and President Donald Trump is now working under two pressure from Congress and the pressures from American citizens and the pressure from all the Europe countries, because all the Europe countries face the same increase in the price of oil and gas, and America and USA try to hope to stop this war, because once this war is extended for 2 weeks, for example, USA military force will spend more and more.
So, Dr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli have stressed on many occasions that the country was ready for any impact that the war may cause to the Egyptian economy. In your opinion, how can the government deal with such impact?
Yes. First of all, let me by all Egyptians to present a special thanks to our leader, President Sisi, because he is the only one able to protect the national security of Egypt and the national economy of Egypt and the rights of all Egyptian citizens by presenting more coverage governmental social program like long life or Haya Karima for all Egyptian families, like supporting from all associations, even if it's governmental association or non-governmental association, by a lot of goods and services to all Muslim and Christian, especially in the whole month of Ramadan. And also the Prime Minister to try all time to support all Egyptian citizens and all industries by very cheap price of oil and gas. And also the government of Egypt still support and make subsidies in the price of oil and gas. The percentage of increase in Egypt not more than 20%, but in all over the world, the increase in oil, the price of oil and gas reached to 40 or 50% for key countries in the world. In the same time, President Sisi and the Prime Minister increased the wage and salary by percentage amount from 15 to 15%, and this is cover the increase of the inflation rate and the Egyptian governmental increase, and also the minimum wage rate increased from 60,000 per month to 8,000 per month, and this is accepted salary to everyone in Egypt. In the same time, the government takes a lot of correctional action in order to reduce the war effect in the Egyptian economy, especially in the mega project process in New Ahmed City and the new capital city, and in Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada and Aswan, and also all the mega projects related to transportation. Minister also Kamil Wazir. Some of this mega projects stopped operation for 2 months in order to be safe from any increase in the price, and after this war stopped the operation will restart again. And also the government tried to make some control of the energy sector, like electricity in some restaurants we stopped at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, for example, in the weekends, and this is will lead to more safe in the energy sector, especially in the oil and the gas and electricity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed Khattab, the economic expert, for
My
your
pleasure.
valuable information and insight. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a short break and we'll be right back.